Okay, so let's get into it. So I was doing a coin flip where heads was, for nonfiction, a biography or a memoir. Tails was pretty much anything else. I think I'm going to switch it up just a little bit, and rather than being totally specific like that, I'm just going to pick 2 nonfiction reads that I have, and then heads will say, you know, it's going to be this book. If I get tails, it'll be this book. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and do that. So I started a couple of months ago, Becoming by Michelle Obama. I was just reading it in between books, because there were other books that were higher on the priority list that I wanted to get read. But out of the 5 chapters that I have read so far, I have absolutely loved it. So I really want to make this a priority. So I'm going to say that if I get, with the coin toss, if I get heads, I'm going to read and finish Becoming by Michelle Obama. If I get tails, I'm going to read Nutrition for Dummies. The author is Carol Ann Rinsler. So, I just want to learn more about nutrition. So, maybe find out stuff I didn't know, stuff that I can do to improve. Because I really don't know anything other than that fruits and vegetables are better for you than processed food, obviously. But I would like to learn a little bit more. So if I get tails, this will be the book that I read. So I'm going to pull up the random coin flip generator and we'll see what book I will be reading. Okay, so I forgot to hit the microphone record during this, so let's go ahead and just do this voiceover. Hopefully this works. So I'm pulling up the random coin generator. It is on heads, and I'm going to flip it here in a moment. As soon as it finishes loading, flipped, and it is on tails. Okay, so that came up with tails, so Nutrition for Dummies it is. Okay, so my goal every month is to also read or listen to 2 audiobooks. I really shouldn't say read or listen to because audiobooks is a form of reading. So I should say my goal is to read 2 audiobooks or read 2 books via audio. Something like that. So in here I have all the audiobooks that I have on my phone. I'm going to draw 2. And those will be the ones that I want to read. So let's go in. Okay, so we'll go with this one. Just putting the bowl down. And this is Second Skin by Christian White. So Second Skin is an adult mystery thriller where a crime is also present. It also states that it is paranormal. So we're following Stan Weir as he is mourning the loss of his wife. He comes across a 9-year-old child who claims to be the reincarnated wife that he lost. And then we'll also have, it sounds like it's a dual perspective because it also follows the perspective of Marcy Keefe, who is the mother of the child who claims to be the reincarnation of the Stan's wife. Okay, now option number 2 or selection number 2 that I will be reading. This one. Okay. Is Finding Tess by Beth Macy. So this is a true crime nonfiction, and from what I can gather is that in this case Tess was found dead in a dumpster. She's a new mom, and it's about trying to find out what happened and led to the situation that happened. Okay, the next book I'm going to figure out is based on my family history. So in this goblet, I have countries where my family is from, and then I'm going to draw just randomly a country out of here. Now, I was saying that I would have to find a book by an author from that country, but I think I'm going to change it up a little bit. I think that would be great. But sometimes it's a little stressful and hard to find. So, yeah. So I think I'm just going to make it so that if an author is from that country, great. If there's an author who has family history who might be, let's say I draw, I don't know, Russia. So if I can find an author that's Russian American, I would say that that would work. If I find a book that takes place in Russia, or a book that has a character from Russia or was inspired by that particular folklore. And that can be with any country that I draw. So it just has to have a connection to the country that I draw from this. So I think that'll make it a little bit more easier for me, and I don't stress so much on trying to find a book. So let's go ahead and find out what country I will be looking for. Okay, here we go. Finland. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to be reading The Finnish Way. This is a book by, I know I'm going to say it wrong, but I will still try. Kataj Pansar. So this is a book, it's, what did it say? So it's kind of like a self-help, how to, let me just read this description. An engaging and practical guided tour of the simple and nature-inspired ways that Finns stay happy and healthy, including the powerful concept of sisu, or everyday courage. I think that sounds good, and it definitely intrigues me. So I will pick that up, and I look forward to getting into that. So for the month of February, I will be basing the rest of my TBR on someone else's TBR game on book 2. So I have the channels in here, and let's go ahead and find out whose TBR game I will be basing my TBR on, based on their prompts. Oh, okay. Okay, here we go. Play Your TBR Right from Gavin. Okay, so Gavin played, he has a Patreon, and he played How to Play Your TBR Right with his Patreons, where they tell him to go higher or lower. So he played 5 rounds with them, and I will select 10 books, one for a book I really want to read, another book I want to read, but not as much as the other book. So, and I'll show you what it is, and then I'll tell you if I get the one that I really want to read and the one not so much, if that makes sense. So give me a moment to grab those books. Okay, so for round 1, the book I want to read the most is The House with Chicken Legs by Sophie Anderson. The one I do want to read, but not at this time, would be 10 Blind Dates by Ashley Elston, mostly because this just takes place at Christmas, and it's a young adult, and I'm just not in the mood to read it. So for this particular round I'm referring to, Gavin and his Patrons won. So I will be reading The House with Chicken Legs by Sophie Anderson. So this follows Marinka, and she really wants to have a normal life. She lives with her grandmother, Baba Yaga, and the Baba Yaga is basically moves around. Let's see. So Marinka never lives in one place for too long, so she has trouble making friends, and she really wants to lead what she says is a normal life. It's just hard when your house grows or sticks out its chicken legs, or grows its chicken legs and walks around. And part of the reason I believe it does that is it says that Baba Yaga guides spirits between this world and the next. So it's about Marinka trying to form her own destiny, her own life, and or coming to terms with how things are. So we'll kind of see what goes on with that. Okay, so for the next round, I am selecting A Splendid Ruin by Megan Chance. So this one we're following May. She gets a request from her aunt to go to a home after her mother has passed away. So it's the family home. The maid there is whispering to May that she is not safe. Things start to come about. So there's paranormal activity, it sounds like, and it takes place in San Francisco. So there's just spooky things going on. This I received in the Scribbler January book box, and I want to stay on top of it so I don't get backlogged with these books. So I really want to make this a priority. The other book I really want to read is Bridge of Clay by Marcus Zuzak. The only reason I'm having this on that I would prefer to read this book over this book is because this one is so much thicker than this book. So that's the only reason. And for this round, they won. So I will be reading A Splendid Ruin by Megan Chance. Okay, round 3. If they win, I'm going to be reading Coma by Robin Cook. This is his second published work. I read in January the debut novel, The Year of the Intern. Didn't really care for that one so much, but I do remember at some point reading a Robin Cook book and liking it. Robin Cook book. I know how that sounded. Anyway, so this one follows, I think will be more interesting. The Year of the Intern was, I think, kind of more, I don't know, there were just some things just kind of sat wrong with me a little bit, but I do want to give them another chance, so I am going to read Coma. This one takes place in Boston Memorial Hospital. 5 patients, 4 or 5, anyway, they go in for a routine surgical procedure, but all of them end up in a coma. So I think we're following a doctor, medical student, Susan Wheeler is who we're following, it looks like. And we're trying to figure out what happened that has caused this fluke of all 5 patients ending up in a coma. If they lose this round, I will be reading Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. I still want to read this either way. This is going to be in a book club that I want to participate in, but I still want to really want to read this one, but yet I want to read this. So I want to read them equally. I just kind of said, okay, kind of did a random pick. So I do want to read them both. This one we're following I think she's a nanny who happens to be black, and she goes out, I think, to a mall with a toddler that she's babysitting, or the nanny over, and the toddler is white, or the baby is white, and then she gets stopped by someone who is saying that she kidnapped this child when she really didn't. So yeah, I want to read that. And for this round they won, so my randomly selected book was Coma by Robin Cook. So this is the one that I will be reading. Okay, so the angle is probably different because the battery was exhausted on my phone, so I had to change it out. So for this round, what I hope to read with a win, since I got this, I really want to read this one. The Complete Cheese Sweet Home, Part 1 by Kanami Kanata. I really want to read this one. If I lose, it's going to be Oliver Twist. This is one of the books I do want to read, like the 12 classics or something like that I want to read. This is one of them, but I want to read this one more. So out of these 2 books, I will be reading Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. Again, this is one I do want to read. I just wanted to read this one more. But there was a loss with his patrons, or his Patreons, so this is the one that I will be reading. And for the last round that Gavin played with his Patreons, I am going to choose just between 2 graphic novels that I want to read. Well, one's not really a graphic novel, I don't think. There are pictures in it, but it's more just like a diary, and she drew in it. So it just follows her life. It's a coming of age. And that is Dork Diaries by Rachel Renee Russell. And then I'm just going to have that up against Phoebe and Her Unicorn. Both of them are volume 1 in a series. Both are pink. And then this one is just Phoebe finding a unicorn and going from there. So, yeah. All right, so for this round, I will be reading The Dork Diaries by Rachel Renee Russell, because they did win this particular round. So again, this one is, it just says it's a new school, there's a new mean girl, new crush, new diary. So Nikki, who is the person writing the diary, can spill about all of it. And so it's just her life in school, and she's got pictures that she has drawn, and yeah, I just think it'll be kind of a fun read. And then for one of the rounds, I think it was the one that Gavin and his patrons lost. He said he was actually reading 2 books. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 2 books, but I am going to be a little easier on myself, and I am going to read a manga. And the one I have been wanting to read, I've been wanting to read a manga and a graphic novel, but I wanted something kind of light, like the Phoebe and Her Unicorn, but where this is around that was, I believe, the one that was lost. I could be wrong. Either way, I'm reading 2 books. I'm going to read Geo by Junjun Ito. So this is a horror manga, and I'm going to read just the little synopsis here on the back, because I'm not 100% sure what it is, although I see bugs and fish with legs crawling over a person's face here at the bottom. So it says, the floating smell of death hangs over the island. A strange legged fish appears on the scene. So begins Tadashi and Kori's spiral into the horror and stench of the sea. There you go. So this is Geo, The Death Stench Creeps by Junjun Ito. So I am looking forward to it, but I'm a little nervous just because it is a horror manga, and sometimes horror and I don't really get along. Okay, so for this round that he's now doing, not with his patrons but with everybody, where he is the only one saying higher or lower and we're shouting it out from home, he is doing 4 rounds of Play Your TBR Right. So give me one moment, and before, I've been kind of watching his video, so I'm to the point now just before where he's going to start the rounds that he's doing with everyone else. He did mention he's going to choose between a book he wants to read and a book he wants to read. So I'm just going to kind of go through my bookshelf and find books I want to read. So since he's doing 4 rounds, I'm going to pick 8 books, and then I'll decide which one I want to put up against the other. So I'll be right back.
Okay, so the first card is a 2, nice and low. Okay, so I'm going to go higher than a 2. 6. 6 is very tricky. 6 is very tricky. I do get to have one swap, so I'll swap the 6, because I kind of don't like the look of it. So let's swap the 6 for a 7. Oh, 7? Oh, that's not better. That's worse. That is worse. Oh, man. I'm going to say higher than a 7. I'm going to say higher than a 7. But I'm going to say higher than a 7, because I don't know why, but I just think higher. 8. Ooh. So it was 6, 7, 8. Okay. 8 is crap and all. 8 is crap and all. Should I just say higher again? I feel like I might just say higher again. Please be a joker. I'm going to say higher than an 8. 9! Oh my... What? I'm at 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my god, I kind of... Oh, should I... Oh, I don't like this. I really don't like this. I kind of want to say higher again and see if that's a 10. But a big part of me wants to say lower now because there's more chance of it being lower. Okay. I want to say higher again. I really want to push my luck with this one. I want to say higher again, see if that works. Come on. Let's see if I win the first round. Oh, no way! What the fuck?
Okay. Oh, that was a good round. That was weird how that worked out. Just the way the cards... That was really cool. So this one was a win. And this one was between The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is the continuation of the Lord of the Rings. This is part 2. And then The Sonnets and Lover's Complaint. This is by William Shakespeare. So since he won the round, I am going with, obviously, the Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. I'm really not too in the mood for a Shakespeare at some point maybe, but not right now. And I realize I am so sorry. I did not show you the books until after he played the round, so I am going to remember now to show you the books before, and then after I'll obviously come back and show you which book it is if he won or lost for the rest of the round. So round number 2 is going to be between American Street and by E.B. Zaboy and The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This I got, I believe, in a book box. I don't remember which one, but there's the inside of that. Because I was doing this quite a bit ago, was several book boxes, and yeah. So I really, honestly, I don't know anything about this other than that people love it. This one, by E.B. Zaboy, I read Pride by E.B. Zaboy and absolutely loved it. So of course I had to get another book written by her. So this one we're following Fabiola, and it deals with immigrating from Haiti with her mother, and her mother gets detained by U.S. immigration, and then she's having to deal with American customs with her loud cousins. So there's that. So Gavin, I hope if he were to ever see this, it's not like I expect him to ever see this, but I hope this one's a win because I really want to read this one, the E.B. Zaboy.
Drink of Courage. Right, okay, the first card is a 9. First card is a 9. First card is a 9. I'm gonna say lower. But if it's a 10 again, I swear. Right, lower than a 9, it is an 8! Oh my gosh, that was so... Right, if this goes 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, I swear. I might say lower again. I think I might say lower than an 8. Yeah, I think I'll say lower than an 8. It is a 1! It's a 1! Oh my god, awesome. So you can't get any lower than a 1 unless it's Joker. So I will say higher than a 1, and it is a Joker, which means it's all cards. It's the highest and it's the lowest card. So that means this card, I've won either way. So it's great. It's great.
And another winning round. So American Street by E.B. Zaboy it is. I am really excited. Thank you, Gavin. I think that beanie might be lucky. Either that or the shirt, something, or your drink. I don't know, but let's try it. Maybe try and figure out what the lucky thing was so you can keep it up, because I am excited. All right, for the next round, the book I want to read is The Duke and Miss Denny by Joy Reid. This is a Regency romance. So this is between the Duke and his darling. All I know is that she is Miss Denny. He is obviously of a higher station and class than she is, and so there is some contention and negative feelings and thoughts between the two. So she would be marrying up, but I mean, not between the two, but from people that know the situation, I guess. Anyway, so I want to read this one. Thank you to Becky from the Bookish Bryants. I'll put their channel below, but thank you to sending this to me. I'm so excited to finally get to this, and I am so intrigued. Yeah. I have always wondered and wanted to kind of live in a time where the women dressed up really nice like she is, but then dressed even fancier for special occasions. So with the hats and the gloves and the umbrellas, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So this is the one I want to read. Again, thank you, Becky. And the book I also want to read, but not at this time, is Sphinx by Robin Cook. And the reason I don't want to read this at this time is because I already have, I already have a Robin Cook book on my TBR. I don't want a second one right now. So, come on, Gavin, pull through for me. I don't want to add another Robin Cook book to my TBR. Let me go ahead and read the back of this one. I do want to read this at some point. I just don't want to by this author right now. So it says, traveling to Egypt is a dream come true for Erica Barron. An Egyptologist, she longs to walk among the temples and monuments of its long-dead civilizations. But when she stumbles upon a clue to a legendary treasure, the most fearful curse of the ancient world and the most savage menace of the modern one, threaten to destroy her. Sounds good. I do want to read it, but just not right now. So come on, Gavin, pull through for me.
So our first card is a queen, nice and high. So I'm going to say lower than a queen. 10. I want to say lower again. 5. Ooh, nice. Higher. King, lower. Jack.
Sweet. Thank you so much, Gavin. Oh, those cards are being nice to you. The Pyramid TBR gods are blessing you right now. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so I will be reading The Duke and Miss Jenny by Joy Reid. All right, for the final round that Gavin will be playing, I want to read Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. This is about I think she's a nanny, a black nanny who goes to the mall with a kid who is white, or she's either a nanny or a babysitter. Either way, I don't know the correct term to use right now. But anyway, so she goes, I believe, to the mall with the child, and then she gets stopped by a mall security officer, and he is claiming that she kidnapped the child because she's black and the child is white. So this will definitely be a harder hitting read, but I really want to read this one. And then the other one I want to read but not yet is The Merciful Crow, and this is by Margaret Owen. I've heard a lot of good things about this one, and I think it's something like collecting teeth, that the crows are the lowest of the class. Yeah, this is another one that I got from some kind of a subscription service, and I don't really know much about it. I have seen it floating around on BookTube every now and then. People tend to love it. Some are kind of like meh about it. So it'll be interesting to see where I like. Yeah, it was a book box because it's got a letter from the author. But I couldn't tell you which one it was because it was a while ago. So yeah, I want to read this one, but I really, really want to read this one.
Our first card is it's a joker, so I can go higher, lower. It doesn't matter because it's the lowest and the highest, so I'll just say higher. 10. Okay, 10. I'm gonna swap it. I want to swap a 10 and hope that I get another really low card or another really high card. So let's swap the 10 for a 6. Oh fuck. Nah, that's not better at all. That is not better at all. So I'm gonna say lower. No, higher. Yeah, I'm gonna say higher than a 6. 8. Okay, nice. But not so nice because I don't know where to go from here. I'm gonna say lower. I'm gonna say lower because I've taken all of the cards out from the previous rounds, and I'm sure there were a lot of high cards in them. So I think maybe there's more chance of it being a lower card. That's my theory anyway. Let's see if it's right. So lower than an 8. 7. Oh my gosh. Oh, right. Higher or lower than a 7. Oh god. Whether I say higher or lower, I still have my life. So we'll see if I have to use it. So higher or lower than a 7, I'll just say higher. No, I'm gonna say lower. Because as I said, there were already a lot of high cards. So I'm just gonna say lower. I'll say lower. Ah, fuck. Okay, I lost, but I'm using my life, so I won.
Okay, so Gavin lost this round. But he used a life, so he won. So I get to read Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. Okay, so that is the TBR for February. That's quite a big, and they are not thin books. Some of them I think will be fairly quick. I'm not even going to try and lift it because it's not going to fit in frame, and it's going to fall all over, and it's my luck it's going to land pointy part on my toe. So that's not happening. But I'm so excited. These are all books I really, really want to read. Thank you for Gavin for letting me use your TBR game and to incorporate it into my video here, I'll put Gavin's information in the description box. I'm sure everyone already knows because he is such an awesome booktuber. Just awesome. What are you guys going to read for the month of February? Are you participating in any readathons? I am going to try to participate in Polarathon with Jadeyraereads. I am going to be on Team Polar Bear. And then I'm also going to try to participate in Woody's Roundup on Bonnie's team, I believe. So, but it's going to be just very low key. So just kind of, if I get a book that fits that prompt. Obviously, Polarathon is just the first week of February. So, and I'll put Jade's announcement video in the description box as well. Several of my books will fit, like The House with Chicken Legs will be the polar book that I read. So there's a polar fantasy right there. So at least get one out of the way for the Polar Bear team right out of the get-go. So I hope you guys are doing well, and until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I will talk to you later.